Good afternoon, Michael. Obviously, thank you for being with us. It's always a pleasure inviting you to
Thank you for having me.
discussion. You're welcome. Obviously, Michael is the executive director at Farsons, and Farsons, a client, obviously, of Kaizen, the client we've shared, and we continue to share a successful lean journey with. So obviously, it's always a pleasure having you with us. Obviously, the topic of discussion, the topic on everybody's lips at the moment, COVID-19 and its effects on the economy, on businesses. Naturally, it's no secret that COVID-19 led to all businesses, but particularly those that are large on the tourism industry, led to a decline in sales, put it that way. And maybe a lot of businesses, to make up for this loss, their first approach was to make their operations more efficient. Is this an approach adopted by Farsons, and were there any particular measures put in place, Michael?
Well, obviously, COVID has impacted our business in a significant way. We clearly weren't expecting this or prepared for it. I think rather we have invested heavily over the last 10 years to bring up our operation to another level in terms of operational excellence. As you know, we've been working with Kaizen on this path towards operational excellence, and we've gone through essentially an investment cycle over the last 10 years where we have completely renovated our operation and geared ourselves for growth. So obviously, after many months of planning our budgets and our forecasts for this year, this was the last thing that we expected. So clearly, it has had a shock to the system in no small manner. Obviously, we have had to deal with essentially what is a crisis, and we've had to take a number of quick actions to try and right-size our operation and deal with the situation. So a number of immediate measures were taken, obviously working remotely, obviously putting in the safeguards, health and safety guards to protect our employees, to reassure our employees, to carry on satisfying our customers. So it's been a very challenging time, but a lot of pressure has been obviously put on across all the different departments, whether it's been our HR department, having to handle this situation with all our employees, whether it's been finance, having to work remotely, whether it's been our logistics and our production. So the whole company has been basically put into this very challenging situation. But I think overall we have managed now, talking a few months later, to bring in new ways of working. Essentially, we've had to split up our different shifts and our teams to essentially try to minimize risks across the board. We've had to work remotely in a lot of situations when we weren't used to working remotely, and that has obviously come at quite an accelerated pace. At the same time, try to give as good a service as we possibly can. So it certainly affected us, but I think overall there has been goodwill from our employees. We've had to work with the unions as well to make sure that we're making, ensuring that we are safeguarding our employees' interests as well, which are essentially the company's interests as well. So I think overall it's been well managed.
Very good to hear. Very good to hear. I mean, what recently we've seen the government maybe ease restrictions and obviously reopen activities within the economy. How has that affected operations at Farsons? What changes have you seen since these restrictions have been eased?
Well, obviously, what happened is once obviously COVID hit us, then essentially all bars, restaurants, and hotels were shut down, as well as the airlines for quite a few weeks, and that is clearly a big chunk of our business. So essentially we had the taps turned off almost overnight. not just us, obviously all our customers. So it had a major impact on our volumes and on our on a good chunk of our business. But obviously easing these restrictions, allowing tourism to come back in is clearly going to help bring some level of normality. But this is not a normal situation. It's not business as usual at all. Obviously, events have been severely clamped down, understandably and rightly so. And obviously, we depend upon that side of the business as well. But clearly, easing of restrictions means that restaurants are opening back up, bars are opening back up, but clearly people are still very fearful and mindful of the risks involved. So we're trying to be as prudent and in our expectations, definitely reminding everyone that this is not business as usual, that the company has to pull together during this difficult time. And one of our chief messages right from the start was that we are going to, it is our intention to retain all our employees. That was our main message to our employees right across the board. And because we're in it together, obviously we need to, we've come out from 10 years of investments in our operations to improve efficiency. So we are as well another point we've been making coming into this crisis from a position of strength. So I think that's been our main drive, to try and retain our employees as much as possible, reassure our employees as much as possible, and work hard to try and improve our efficiencies wherever we can. As you know, one of the key objectives in operational excellence in Kaizens is to remove and have a war on waste, and essentially that is what we're trying to do: eliminate waste as much as possible, take advantage of the opportunities as well to invest in more training, things that couldn't be done before, which were very important, but rather overtaken by the day-to-day urgent matters that needed to be dealt with. But obviously there's a limit to how much training you can do, so we need to be as innovative as possible as well. And I don't think any of these objectives we've been striving to achieve, i.e. operational excellence, war on waste, and working towards continuous improvement, are any less relevant today. So we have to keep focused on trying to be as productive as possible.
On that note, you mentioned the war on waste, which obviously with Kaizen, Farsons has worked with Kaizen. We've come across various lean tools. We've put measures in place. To try and take a positive out of this, would you say that the crisis itself provided an opportunity for us to put maybe these lean tools, these efficiency measures into place faster? Because obviously we're dealing with a crisis and we had to react quickly. And would you say that from this crisis you can say there was an opportunity, or maybe there's a silver lining, put it that way, coming out of it?
I mean, no doubt our drive towards operational excellence and the path we have taken with Kaizen Institute as well has served us well in terms of trying to identify our weak spots, identifying our key wastes, and trying to improve and bring on this mindset of continuous improvement. So had we not done that, I don't think we would have been as well prepared to deal with the crisis that we've currently dealt with. So clearly, I think that's been all added value and is still very relevant to where we are today. So I certainly think it's improved our game. It's become more embedded within the company now as a philosophy and as a way of doing things, as a goal, as an objective. I think it's also brought focus to a lot of areas and needs for improved communication as well. And I think communication in a time of a crisis becomes ever more paramount. So that has been very important to build on during this time when people are certainly feeling more insecure about their future and want to know what the company is thinking and doing. So, and obviously a big part of Kaizen as well is also communicating well with your employees and embracing your employees and making them a part of the solution rather than the problem. So I think it's been an important part of trying to improve our ways of doing things around here. It's also very behavioral as well and cultural. So I think we wouldn't be managing the situation as well as we would had we not invested so much time in training and people development.
Very, very good, very good. So, taking all that into consideration, would you say that in the unfortunate event, let's hope it doesn't happen, and that we do have a second wave, would you say that now Farsons is in a better position to deal if unfortunately we were to encounter a second wave?
I think obviously these last 3 months have been certainly an extreme and an accelerated learning curve for us, and obviously heightened, the issues at hand. And but there clearly remains a lot of uncertainty with how this crisis is going to unfold. I think we are better prepared, definitely in terms of putting in the right measures in place to safeguard our employees' health, and essentially also how to provide a better service to our customers. Clearly things like, for instance, moving to online selling has become very important as well. Trying to deal with our customers in ways that we didn't before. A lot of tactical ways, new ways of being more innovative when it comes to your marketing and your promotions, and being more being more focused in how we deal with the new expectations of our consumers, because obviously there's been a shift in consumer behavior as well over these last few months. So I think we're far more aware, certainly. I think we are better prepared. Obviously, there's still a lot of uncertainty that hangs over our heads, and we're not expecting that this crisis to go away anytime soon. I think we're realistic. We've got our feet on the ground, but obviously hopeful that this crisis will end sooner rather than later, like everyone else, of course.
Yes. On that note, obviously, let's hope that the second wave is contained. I'm sure that we have been in contact as Kaizen with the medical sector. They have put a lot of measures in place. It gives you a little hope, at least, that things are under control. Let's hope it doesn't overwhelm our medical sector and our economy in general. Michael, thank you very much. I appreciate your time. I don't want to take any more of your time. Once again, thank you for everything.
Thanks very much. Thanks, Ian.
Thank you.